This is Steve Leibowitz at Palestinian Media Watch. I'm here with Itamar Marcus, the director of the organization that monitors what takes place in the Palestinian media. Following the Donald Trump speech, I imagine there's been quite a great deal of incitement against that speech.
The Palestinian Authority tells its people that Jews have no history in Jerusalem. We just had a speech from one of the most important religious figures in the country, Mahmoud Abbas, saying exactly that. He said, Jerusalem is ours, it's not yours. And because of that, he literally called on the Muslim world to respond with violence. He didn't use the word violence, but he said, we will act, we will not allow this to happen. How could they allow this to happen? And he's turning it into a religious war. He's calling on Muslims of the world to respond.
What is the official Palestinian media's line about the Trump speech and the policy that it defines?
The official messaging coming from the top, from Mahmoud Abbas and everyone else, it's not just the media, it's the leadership. The message is it's an irrelevant speech. One of the expressions used, that he will end up in the dustbin of history. It will have no significance. Jerusalem is ours. It will remain ours. So from their perspective, it's canceled. On the other hand, they're also saying that just the fact of declaring it the capital needs a response. They've called for rage, they've called for violence, they've called for everyone will pay for this in the East and in the West, around the whole world. In other words, they're basically calling for Muslims to attack American interests anywhere in the world.
Right here on your desk is a document that says Palestinian Authority salaries to terrorist prisoners. This is something that's spoken about a lot. Is there any indication that the Palestinians are planning to cut off the direct salaries that they give to convicted terrorists?
The Palestinian Authority has said so many times that they will never cut off the salaries.
Will not.
Will not. They will never cut off the salaries. And the reason they give is very simple. They argue, they say, our people in the Israeli prisons are freedom fighters. They are heroes. They deserve to be rewarded for what they did. And were they to stop giving them salaries, that would be to accept Israel's definition of them as terrorists. Now you have to realize that we're talking about people like Abdallah Barghouti, prepared the bombs that blew up the Hebrew University. Cafe, altogether, he killed 67 people in the bombs that he made. Cafe Hillel, Cafe Moment, all of them. He is one of those people. He's already received close to $200,000 in prison. And he's one of those people who the Palestinian Authority is saying, this is a freedom fighter. And he had a right to kill those people. And therefore, for us to stop paying him a salary would be to admit that he's a terrorist, and we'll never admit that he's a terrorist.
So the Palestinian Authority is continuing to give money to sponsor terrorists. There are people in this country, including the Prime Minister, who's not repeating his comment of Bar Ilan about a two-state solution, about a Palestinian state. Is there a partner in the Palestinian Authority to negotiate peace with?
There is no one in the leadership of the Palestinian Authority who is interested in negotiating with Israel. What they have learned over the years is they have to constantly create new conditions for continuing peace talks, at the same time as they keep going to the international community, blaming Israel and asking for more and more recognition of their demands. And unfortunately and tragically, every time the international community accepts one of their demands, like the UN Security Council vote last year declaring the Israeli settlements illegal, which they're not by international law, but it was a political decision. Those decisions absolutely make it unnecessary for the Palestinian Authority to ever go back to serious negotiations, and they never will. The only time they'll go back to serious negotiations is if the international community would take a serious stand against them because of their terror promotion, isolate them politically, isolate them diplomatically, don't allow them to travel around the world like heroes and respectable people, as they deserved, as supporters of terror. If that were to happen, the Palestinian Authority would then have to make a decision, realizing we can't go anywhere unilaterally, we're going to have to negotiate, we're going to have to compromise, we're going to have to stop supporting terror. But unfortunately, the United States nor Europe has ever taken a serious stand against Palestinian Authority terror promotion.
Itamar Marcus, Palestinian Media Watch, thanks so much for being with us at WIN News.
Thank you very much.